G'day guys, and welcome back to another video on the channel. And in today's video we're going through my round 24 final round AFL tips and predictions. Before we get straight into this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and let's get straight into the round 23 review from last weekend of footy. Alright, so as we're going through last weekend of footy, I got a total score of 9 out of 9 tips correct in the top 36%. Finally, I've gotten my first 9 out of 9 this week, and finally, I've gotten my score from 9 out of 9 to obviously a 10, because in ESPN Footy Tips, with the tips, whoever gets a perfect score gets a bonus point onto the leaderboard. So that's good for my tipping comp and also other people as well that are in my tipping comp and also the overall tipping comp in the on ESPN Footy Tips. So let's go through the recap. Tip Freo over Adelaide on the Friday night, since it was a Friday night start, 7:40 p.m. at Optus. I backed them in by 29 points. It was 5 points off the margin there. They won by 24 points. Yeah, we didn't really want the win, and we didn't want to hold on to 5th or 6th place, or even the top 4 at least. So that's why we're in 7th now after that loss, and we most likely will stay there after the GWS game, but we'll see what happens. So hopefully we get to be in the top 6 and beat Geelong on the ladder. But despite their only 15-point win over North, which we'll get to in a moment, they're definitely going to defeat Richmond this weekend, which is going to make it very hard for the Adelaide Crows, if not impossible, for the Adelaide Crows to move through to the second round of finals. Obviously, they'll have to go through the wildcard finals first against Carlton, most likely, but we'll see what happens. The night tips St Kilda, Geelong, Brisbane, Collingwood and Melbourne on the Saturday. St Kilda, easy win against Richmond. It would have given them hope going into the finals if they jumping into finals if they had won this game, and then Carlton obviously lost, but obviously they drew to the Bulldogs, which we'll get on to in a moment. Geelong defeating North in a thriller. They were down by 38 points, at one stage in the first quarter, and they somehow clawed their way back and won the game by 15 points. Well done from Geelong. Brisbane defeating Gold Coast. Not much to say about that. Gold Coast are in the 14th spot, and they probably will stay there because they went from being a top 6 team from everyone's predictions to being all the way down in 14th, which sounds embarrassing, but yeah, that's not good. Then I tipped Collingwood over Hawthorn in this one to try and get the upset, and we saw another draw. When there's never been a time in history of the AFL VFL where not only the same two teams have drawn in the same year, but also 2 draws in one round, and also the same player from the same team kicking a goal or having a shot after the siren, having the last kick of the game. He had the last kick in both games, Dylan Moore. That was ridiculous. Darcy Moore with the high tackle call last time against Dylan Moore, and then Dylan Moore kicked the goal. This one was from the pocket this time around, and they drew with a no-score result in that last kick from Dylan Moore. And then Melbourne easily win against Port on this Saturday night. GWS easily defeating West Coast in a thriller. Not a thriller at all. Pretty convincing win on the board. And then the Dogs, they couldn't quite capture a win in this one. Carlton, they are through to the finals. You heard all the Carlton fans. We want Fraser, because obviously a couple of days later after that game happened, he was confirmed being the 2027 Carlton coach. So see you later, Michael Voss. And welcome to the Josh Fraser Club, as I like to call it. But anyway, Bulldogs v Carlton, what a draw this was. The second draw of the round, and not only the second draw of the round, but technically a win in Carlton's eyes. The Dogs are already locked in a top 10 spot in the finals. So it was all up to Carlton in this game, and they drew with them. So it's impossible for St Kilda to win, to go above them, compared to no matter if they win by heaps to Gold Coast this week, they don't have much to play for. And then the Swans against Essendon, pretty convincing win, but it wasn't that convincing because afterwards there was some saga going on between 5 Sydney Swans players: Riley Bice, Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney, and a couple of others. I think Nick Blakey was a part of that too, were a part of some sort of sexual assault in the hotel room on the Sunday night after their game. So they won't be playing for the rest of the season, including the final series. So big outs for Sydney in a Sydney midfield to forward line. But yeah, we'll go on to that a bit later on when the Swans play North Melbourne this weekend in the footy tips. So let's go through the tipping comp right now to see who's on top of the leaderboard and see who's most likely to win this comp. Alright, so as we check on the leaderboard right now, Big Kev still on top with a commanding 3-tip in front lead to the second and third place players. 3P pending with 159, and Shannon Humphries tied with him with 159, both getting a 9 out of 9 tips correct. Big Kev got 8 out of 9. I don't know which one he got wrong, but it was probably one of the games that could have been 50-50. That wasn't a draw, obviously. He would have. I don't know who he tipped for that weekend, but anyway, that doesn't matter. JC Boy's winning has basically given up. He got 5 out of 9 last week, even though he probably got selected tips randomly. Ronnie Reagan got 8 out of 9, and Alvin Tiger Jones got 8 out of 9. So more players got 8 or less than the people with 9 out of 9. Obviously, Shannon, 3P pending, and myself all got 9 out of 9s. Out of the 7 people, that's only 3 people that got 9 out of 9s from the last week. So I'm at 152. Let's hope I can bounce back into the top 3. I don't think I can get, top 4, I mean. Hopefully I can get into the top 4, which is around the middle of the ladder, exactly the middle of the ladder. And Alvin Tiger Jones can jump down back to 5th. But that round that I had a 4 out of 9, which was, round 22, that wasn't really that great. So I got to back it up this week with a good score out of 9 this week in footy tips, or else I will not be having a chance to get back up to 4th, and I'll stay 5th for the rest of the season. So looks like 4th or 5th at best for me. I don't think I'm going to sit in 1st, 2nd or 3rd at all, but Big Kev is on top of the leaderboard right now, and that is looking good for himself, having a 3-point lead in the tipping comp so far. But without further ado now, let's get through the round 24 AFL tips and predictions. Alright, so we kick off the weekend in style. Not really in style, since both these teams are out of the finals race, of course, but it is the Thursday night, the 20th of August. This game does not mean much to these two sides, because neither side is going to make finals, obviously. St Kilda and Gold Coast at Marvel Stadium, 7 p.m. start time. So St Kilda, they came off the win last week, I believe, to the Tigers, and the Suns came off an unfortunate loss to the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba in front of a Q-Clash fan house, powerhouse team in Brisbane, who are reaching for the stars for another premiership this season for their 3rd in a row. They're aiming to do, the Brisbane Lions, as the Gold Coast Suns, their arch rivals, take on the Saints under the roof. So St Kilda, their last game, obviously against the Tigers, they pulled off a win, and it gave them a slim chance going into the Carlton game that was obviously being played later in the round on the Sunday, and they were hoping the Bulldogs would win. And if the Dogs did win, then they would have had a sniff for finals if they got this win against the Gold Coast Suns. Whereas Gold Coast, it wouldn't have mattered nonetheless, because they went from being a top 6 team in the league from everyone's predictions and everything to way down low. I don't know what Damien Hardwick was thinking, but apparently Gold Coast were the one that fell way down, dropped massively. And then the Blues were the team to rise. So, unbelievable trade of the coaches sacking Michael Voss to Josh Fraser. But anyway, back to the Saints Gold Coast game. My prediction will be the Saints to finish off the season on a high note, despite St Kilda not making finals this year. Hopefully they'll be back bigger and better next year with their young talent and their young list. Jack Silvani's not the best player, nor is Tom De Koning in their new side. They should have stayed at Carlton, but whatever. St Kilda's going to be my prediction. They're going to win this game by 14 points. It should be an easy win for them, but I'm going to keep it close between these two sides because it doesn't really matter too much. So I'm going to back in the Saints by 14 to kick off the round. Friday night footy at its finest. Collingwood taking on the Brisbane Lions live from the MCG. What a game this is going to be between these two sides, live from the G. Collingwood, they come off a draw to the Hawks, back-to-back draws to the Hawthorn Hawks, and the first ever time it's ever happened with the same player kicking a shot at goal on the siren or after the siren for the Hawks to win the game or even draw it. He had the last kick nonetheless. And Brisbane, they've come off a convincing win to the Gold Coast Suns, which makes sense. They won by 41 points or so, 96-55 I think it was. I'll put it on screen just in case. And yeah, they're the heavy favourites in this one somehow. The Brisbane Lions, they could go into the qualifying final against most likely Sydney. If they do win this game, they'll most likely play Sydney in the qualifying final, second v third. And that'll give them a good chance to go to a home prelim, because obviously Sydney, with that saga losing 5 players from the assault that happened on Sunday night at their hotel room, like Monday early morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever. They were using drugs and some sort of assault happened or whatever. I don't know the whole news about it, but apparently on the news tonight it explained what exactly happened and stuff like that with those Swans players. So Riley Bice, Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney, what's the name? Nick Blakey and James Jordan won't be participating in the rest of the games for the Swans season this season, which sucks because they were a really good team up until now, because they're probably going to stumble down after this game against North, which they'll play later on. But Collingwood, Brisbane, I'm going to back in the Pies an upset. It won't matter too much for the Brisbane Lions or the Pies because both teams are in finals. But Collingwood, if they can rise up to 7th, they'll have a home final against Carlton, which is very unlikely. I don't think it's going to happen based on the ladder odds. It looks like Collingwood are only a win behind, but if Adelaide lose to GWS, it could happen. So we'll see what happens. But I'm backing in Collingwood to beat the Lions. I'll say them by 6 points in the thriller. We kick off the Saturday afternoon at 12:45 p.m. under the roof at Marvel once again. We're back under the roof for an afternoon game. Carlton taking on the Freo Dockers. Fremantle have held onto the minor premiership after winning the last 3 or 4 games in a row. Fremantle, they've been the best team all year, the best young list as well. They've got such a young list in the forward line and stuff, and they are absolutely dominating the whole league. I reckon they're going to go for their first ever premiership, which will be dangerous to see, because obviously the Giants haven't won one, nor the Suns, but at least both those teams are not going to be in the finals contention this season, so it won't matter too much for them. But if Fremantle can beat them on the leaderboard with 1 win each, and then the expansion cup teams be the only teams that are left without a premiership, then that would be funny as. But anyway, Carlton v Freo, what a game this is going to be. 10th v 1st. Carlton, they've just come off a drawn game to the Dogs, which has clarified them and forced them into finals after getting 2 points each from that game. Obviously, Carlton got 2 points and Bulldogs got 2 points, because for a win it's 4 points, for a loss it's 0, and draw is 2 each for each team. So St Kilda are mathematically mathematically out of the finals race. Obviously, they need to get 6 points or over. They can only get 4 points with the last round of the season, so that's why I backed in the Saints no matter what, because it wouldn't have mattered too much. But Carlton v Freo, this is going to be a tight squeeze, this game. I want to stream this game on the YouTube channel because it'll be very heavily contested throughout the ball. Walsh and Sarong will go at it together. A few key forwards in there like Jai Amos, Josh Tracy, even Harry Mackay for the Blues. They're gonna compete hard going into finals, all these players. Obviously, Carlton will most likely face the Crows in the wildcard round, but the Fremantle Dockers probably will face Hawthorn or Brisbane or even Melbourne, depending on what happens on these results on the Saturday afternoon and throughout the whole weekend, realistically. But I'm going to back in the Blues. I see the Blues causing an upset, and this will be their 4th loss of the season, the Dockers. If they do lose, it wouldn't matter too much. They've already locked up minor premiers. They're already heavy favourites to win the whole thing. So Carlton, I'm going to back you guys in. Hopefully it goes their way for a home game at Marvel under the roof to gain some confidence going into the wildcard finals. We continue the Saturday, 3:45 p.m, a 3-hour break between games. I might stream this game as well, so it might be a doubleheader on the YouTube channel. You stick around for that. Unfortunately, the Saturday night's going to be quite boring, depending on how the 2 games go, but we'll see what happens. We'll get to that later on. Melbourne taking on the Dogs at the twilight time slot at the MCG. Melbourne, they've almost won every single game at the MCG. No matter what the time slot is. It's mainly been 2:45 p.m. at the MCG on a Sunday. This time it's 3:45 p.m. at the MCG on a Saturday, so who knows? It might be different. I don't think it will be though. Melbourne should win this game pretty easily. The Dogs are already in finals, so they'll probably verse Collingwood in the first round. And then Adelaide will face Carlton most likely, based on Geelong having to play Richmond this week as well. So Geelong will probably stay in 6th, and Melbourne will go up to third or 4th, or even stay at 5th, depending on what happens. But yeah, no matter what happens, if they finish 5th or 6th, that means they'll have to play the highest ranked wildcard winner based on. So for example, if Adelaide win against Carlton, then Adelaide will play Melbourne or whatever happens. I don't know how it works, but 6th play the highest ranked winner, and then the 5th, I don't know how it works, but I'll put it on screen right now how the finals will work in the first round, because I'm not going to go too deeply into it. Melbourne v Bulldogs is going to be an interesting game at 9th versus 5th on the table. We're back in the D's because I've caused a couple of upsets already. I've tipped Collingwood over Brisbane, which they're apparently not the favourites, which is fair enough. And obviously Carlton over Freo, which is a bit of a risky call, but I think Carlton can get a confidence booster heading into Adelaide next week, most likely if they face the Crows not under the roof, at Adelaide Oval in front of the Crows' home fans. But I'm going to back in Melbourne to win this game. They should win this game easily, not too easily though, I'll say 25 points. It's a pretty convincing win, but the Dogs will keep up with them up until the end. We start the Saturday night, Geelong taking on Richmond at GMHBA, 7:15 PM. Not much more to say about this. Geelong are already in finals. They're probably locked up in 6th spot already. No higher, no lower. I don't think the Crows can beat GWS by a massive margin, or even more than Geelong can beat Richmond to gain more percentage. So I think Geelong, this will be a percentage booster for them to clarify them or confirm them into the 6th position on the table and face one of the wildcard winners, depending on who wins between. At the moment, it's Collingwood, Bulldogs, and Adelaide Carlton, but it could be flipped. Well, I don't think it'll flip. I don't think it'll flip, but it could change no matter what. It won't change with St Kilda going up. We know those 10 teams are in the finals: Freo, Sydney, Brisbane, Hawthorn, Melbourne, so on and so forth. But yeah, Geelong should win this game convincingly. I'm going to say them to win this game. Bit of a percentage booster, they'll win by 78 points, and Richmond, they might as well just end their season there. They're waiting for their season to end. Same with Essendon, same with most teams that are out of the 8, which is obviously 11th to 18th. So I'll say the Cats to win pretty convincingly. They'll pump them in an embarrassing game, and then Richmond will just go on their trip to wherever they want to go on holiday until getting ready for next season, which should be starting in December or maybe even January when they start preparing for the preseason and stuff. But yeah, Geelong to win this game pretty convincingly, a bit of percentage booster. This is a no-brainer. Tip this one. Geelong should win convincingly, and yeah, I'll see the Cats just not putting a number on the Tigers in this one. And we finalise the Saturday night, 7:40 PM at Adelaide Oval. It's my Adelaide Crows taking on GWS. My bad. 7:40 PM at Adelaide Oval. Now this game, it probably won't matter for the Crows too much because they're already in finals and probably locked up 7th spot to face Carlton in the first final. And GWS, well, their season was done their season wasn't done up until Carlton drew with the Dogs in that game at Marvel Stadium under the roof at 2:45 PM. So that game unfortunately didn't go their way, nor the Saints' way. So unfortunately those two teams will be the teams that are just missing out on finals with a 6-point differential, or even less, maybe even more if Carlton can beat Freo, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to back in the Crows in this one. I'm going to back in my team. Get a confidence booster going into the game against Carlton, but if Carlton do win against Freo, it might give them a more of a bigger booster since they do play Fremantle, who are the best team in the comp, and obviously by far Fremantle should win the flag by all the odds. Obviously they probably have the best chance to win the flag overall. But Adelaide, I'm going to back us 10. I don't think we're going to go far in finals, but if we do, that'll be good. But I highly doubt us going through, even if we win to Carlton, we probably won't surpass Brisbane or Hawthorn or whoever we have to play next. So, yeah, no matter what happens, I'm going to back in the Crows in this one to beat the Giants. It could happen with GWS beating Adelaide like they did with Port, but Port are such a different team to the Crows. Obviously, they're injury prone this season, Port Adelaide, and obviously they've got Essendon this week, which would be a bit of a risky game to play because it'll confirm the Bombers in last, or if the Bombers do win somehow, then Port Adelaide are in a bit of strife going into next season. But yeah, we'll go on to that for the Sunday games a bit later on, which is the first game, I believe, on the Sunday, but that'll be the next clip, of course, on this tipping video. But yeah, Adelaide to win this game, on the back is in by 17 points. It won't be a convincing win, but it'll be just under 3 goals. As I say that, we start the Sunday, should I say, 11:50 AM, a weird time slot for an Essendon v Port Adelaide game, SA time. Obviously it's afternoon in Melbourne, but for Adelaide time it looks a bit strange seeing a morning game on. Normally for AFLW it's a bit different, but AFL just looks strange. Essendon taking on Port Adelaide is the next game at Marvel Stadium on the Sunday. Start off the Sunday afternoon, obviously it's morning, but it's only 10 minutes. What do you do in 10 minutes? Hardly anything. Port Adelaide, they're looking for just one more win on the board. Obviously, they're hoping to keep Zach Butters, but he's probably going to go. Mitch Georgiades is obviously 100% staying in Port Adelaide. There were rumours about him leaving, but obviously not. So hopefully Zach Butters can play this game just in case if he's leaving to the Cats or whichever Victorian team he'd like to go to, or whatever Victorian team he gets selected to go to or whatever. But Essendon, you know what? They're just hoping the season ends now. Obviously, they've got to play one more game, which is the same with Port Adelaide and most of the other sides outside of the 8, outside of the top 10, my bad, which is St Kilda all the way to Essendon on the ladder right now. And 4 of these teams playing on the Sunday out of the 6 obviously are not in finals, and they're hoping that after this game they'll be like, sigh of relief, our season's done, thank God, we can go pack our bags and, you know, just rest for a bit. Obviously, they do deserve a well-earned rest after playing almost every weekend. Well, not almost every weekend, because there was obviously buys in between. There was a couple of buys in between for every team. But yeah, Essendon v Port, this should be an interesting one. But I'm backing Port to be safe. They should bounce back and get a win here. No matter, it won't matter too much. But if they can go, if they can get another win on the board, it'd be nice for them to end off the season on a high note. So, unfortunately for Essendon fans, I'm going to see Port win this one. And as sad as it is, tipping Port as a Crows fan, I'm going to have to back them in. So I'm going to back them in over Essendon. Won't be a smashing, but I'll say 26 points. We continue the Sunday afternoon, 2:50 p.m. at the SCG. I won't be watching this game live at all because I'll be goal umpiring, but this game is going to be a bit of a risky one. Sydney taking on North Melbourne. Obviously, like I mentioned, 5 players are suspended from the rest of the season, including finals, so they won't be able to play the rest of the season, including Riley Bice, Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney, their best player, James Jordan and Nick Blakey all miss out because of some sort of drugs use or some sort of sexual assault or whatever happened. I don't even know exactly what happened because the police they have been informed, but they haven't been a part of it too much. But Sydney, Errol Gordon will lead the show, I guess, as the main star of the game. Obviously, Isaac Heaney, I think, is the captain of their side, so obviously they'll get someone else to captain for him. Unless it's Callum Mills. I think it's Callum Mills who gets to play because he wasn't a part of the 5 players. But yeah, North Melbourne, obviously their season's over, but they fought hard until the end. They were in the 10 for a long time. They weren't staying there. They weren't staying any higher than like 8th, but they were sitting in the top 10 for a little while. And I was surprised about their season. Give yourselves a pat on the back, North Melbourne. You guys did really well this season. And obviously, North Melbourne fans, you guys would be proud of your season compared to previous seasons, because obviously previous seasons, you finished in the positions such as like 16th, 17th, 18th. You know, just sitting at the bottom of the ladder for between 3 and 5 years in a row. It's just, you know, you would like things to change, but it just can't change. Up until now, you guys have improved, and I see you guys making finals in the next couple of years. I reckon next year, or the year after, you'll be in finals contention. Yes, I'm still back in Sydney. It will be a risky call, but without those 5 players, North Melbourne could win this game. So I'm back in the Swans just to be safe, but who knows? North Melbourne are a dangerous team, no matter, especially without Isaac Heaney. That could be big without him into the side. So I'm back in the Swans in a risky tip. I'll say them by 19 points. It'll be a closer game than you'd expect from Sydney, but North Melbourne will bring up a fight up until the end. And the final game of the home and away season, 6:50 p.m. at Optus. A bit of a later time slot for this game. West Coast taking on the Hawks. Hawthorn, they're trying to lock up a top 4 spot. West Coast, they're just out of finals. They're trying to get out of the 16th spot. Obviously, they can't really move any higher, I don't think, based on the odds right now on what the ladder looks like, with Port Adelaide with 24 points. I think the Eagles are on the same. Well, let me just double check that for a second. Give me a split moment. I'll check that now. They are on 16 points, so they can't get. So even if they get a win here, they won't be going any higher or any lower unless Richmond somehow beat Geelong. But yeah, they'd hope Geelong smash Richmond. If not, they'll go down to 17th. Or even if Geelong win it all, they will stay in 17th, the Tigers. But Eagles v Hawthorn, this is going to be a bland game of football. Hawthorn are just looking for a top 4 spot to lock up and get a couple of weeks off, or at least, well, I mean, technically Hawthorn will get a 1-week break if they are in 4th, which they're in 4th now. If they stay in the top 4, then that means they will. If they stay in top 4, they'll get a week off from the wildcard round. But if not, they'll have to play. Well, they'll get a week off no matter what, because they'll be in the top 6, so it wouldn't matter too much. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I don't know what I'm trying to back up when I'm not trying to back up anything. But anyway, Hawthorn is going to be my prediction for the final game of the round and final game of the home and away season. This has been a roller coaster of a season so far. We've seen 3 draws, technically 2 because Hawthorn and Collingwood drew twice, but technically we count that as 3 draws. I don't know. But because it was a different game, different round, different score, yes, it was different, and different home teams. So technically it was a different game, even though it was the same 2 sides. But nonetheless, Hawthorn's going to be my final tip for the season, which is funny to say because it's already the end of the season and I've already missed so many tipping videos throughout this season, but at least I've done the last 2. And Hawthorn's going to be my final prediction. They'll win by 69 points. No pun intended for that silly number, 69. If you guys know 69, it's not. I'll just stop talking. Hawthorn will win this game by 69 points, and yeah, it'll be a percentage booster to stay in the top 4, and hopefully go to 3rd place. But even if they finish 3rd or 4th, they're gonna have to either face Freo or Sydney, so it wouldn't matter too much. So Hawthorn, you'll finish 4th. Alrighty, just to clarify the tips one more time, obviously I got a 999 last week as you can see, but that doesn't matter too much. I tipped Saints by 14, Collingwood over Brisbane, Carlton, Melbourne, Geelong and Adelaide, all the home teams for the first 5 or 6 games of the round, and then I tipped away, home and away. So I tipped Port, Sydney and Hawthorn. So I've tipped 2 away games this round. I know it sounds silly, and Brisbane are the favourites, and the same with Freo, and I've only tipped, I've tipped, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 9 majority tips, but there you go. There's my footy tips for the final weekend of the round. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one on the channel. Enjoy this last weekend of footy, and obviously I'll reveal some, maybe some prizes. I don't know if I'm going to do prizes yet, but probably not. I'll probably do that next year when I'm out of school and I've got time to like give money out and stuff to people. But who knows? We'll see you guys in the next video, and final tipping video of the home and away season. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the tipping videos, even though I've done a few on older channels, and obviously I've done 3 on this channel because round 14, round 23 because I had a 9-week break. And then obviously round 24, the final round. But we'll be back for footy tips in the final series. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. We'll see you soon. Peace.